Hi everybody, today we're going to talk about the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA, and what it is that we need to know about it. So what is FERPA? FERPA is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, and it protects students' information when held by an educational agency or institution. It also gives parents and guardians or students, once they are 18 years of age, the right to consent to disclosure of their records so that they're able to send their educational records from one place to another. The law gives parents permission and students access to those records and allows them the opportunity to correct any errors that are on the record. Who's affected by FERPA? Any school or institution that receives federal funding from programs from the United States Department of Education. This basically covers all public and charter schools throughout the country. So what data do schools collect? They collect student names, home addresses and phone numbers, transcripts, records, disciplinary records, the health records, which include immunizations, allergies, health concerns, and physicals, social security numbers, student grades, and grade point averages for students. And there's also video surveillance on school property, not always included, but it can be. This information must be directly related to the student and maintained by an educational agency or institution. So there is a lot of different data that we do collect. We would be able to find this in Infinite Campus for us here at our school and in our district. It is one of our programs. Other programs that are very similar to it are Power School. And so you were able to find all of the information that we need about student records in that spot. Okay, so who has access to the student records? School officials have access. Different people that are considered school officials are teachers, administrators, counselors, school attorneys and accountants, third-party companies contracted by the school, such as school security systems, consultants or contractors. These third-party companies do not have to abide by FERPA, though. It is school and district responsibility to ensure that the company they hire is compliant with FERPA regulations. So that is something that the district has to look into when they are dealing with third-party companies. Parents and guardians and the student have access to the record, and government officials for law enforcement purposes. The student's law enforcement record is not part of the educational record. School resource officers do not have access. However, if subpoenaed to court, records must be released and consent is not needed at that time. Disposal of the data. There's no official rule or guidance when it comes to FERPA and how long the data needs to be retained or how it needs to be disposed of or destroyed. The students' records cannot be disposed of if they are pending a request for access to the record, and the potential harm if the data was to be breached or stolen determines on how the data must be destroyed. So where do we go from here? There are several groups that are calling for the revision of FERPA, which was enacted in 1974 to reflect the changes of cybersecurity due to increased reliance on digital storage of data and the increase of security cameras in schools and online file sharing. Now, since it only came into place in 1974, it has been a long time. There has been a lot of new technologies that have come out during that time, so it might be a good idea to look at some revisions for FERPA. The Department of Education consolidated its guidance on student privacy provisions into a single document to be used by schools and districts as a single brief source. It's a quick reference to know what it is that we need to do. As far as my school or my district in District 60 here, we are going to have a couple of different policies that come into it. We are very sound in this as far as access, sharing, collection, the disclosure to the third-party companies that we hire, security breach or other unauthorized disclosure. We have staff trainings on this, parent and guardian requests to amend student education records, parent guardian complaints, oversight, audits, reviews. We have a director of technology. It's audited annually, and we provide periodic in-service training for all staff so that all of our staff is able to stay up to date on FERPA and what's going on. So where do we go? In conclusion, everyone is responsible. Administrators, teachers, all staff is responsible for following FERPA. We know that we can be know what can be shared with who, when, where, why it can be shared. We want to make sure that we know everything as far as how we stay compliant with FERPA. Anyone with access to student records needs to be trained on privacy laws and obey that law. It's important that they know what the information the record contains. Parents and guardians and students need to be informed of their rights as well. Okay, so here's some different references or resources that we can use to help deepen our knowledge on FERPA. If you have any questions, please feel free to come talk to any member of the administration. Thanks for your time today, guys.